Hey guys, it's your dude fam dude here, and we're gonna talk about this guy here, my boy Bennett. Now we had a lot of questions about Bennett because Bennett is a really awkward kind of character. His skills don't really sound that great, but when you actually start to peel it back, he gets really interesting. I'm saying this because this boy can do a lot of utility work for our team. So what we're going to do with Bennett, I'm going to show you exactly what we need to be doing. So Bennett,
Wow. Where did that come from?
I don't know why, but it's always funny. So Bennett is wonderful. If you're going to add him to your team, make sure you level him up so we can get the base attack up. Your three main stats on Bennett you're going to be looking for, at least in my opinion, are going to be attack percentage, and elemental recharge. So his Strike of Fortune, his first skill, it's just pure physical damage. So if you're stacking attack, cool, you'll be able to do some damage. Passion Overload is a pure Pyro based skill. So if you add Mastery, it'll do some extra damage. Or if you have a Goblet with like extra Pyro percentage, that's when we can stack more damage on that skill. The last one that's the most interesting is his Burst, the Fantastic Voyage. Now what this does is it lays down an AoE down on the ground, and you'll see it, it's a big thumbs up and a fire ring. And what it does is it lays out an attack bonus ratio based on how much of Bennett's attack there is. So the higher Bennett's attack is, the more extra damage you'll be doing in that AoE. Now, there is Constellations to help you with extra damage and whatnot. We'll get to that in a second, but right now, as a fresh Bennett, in order to take full advantage of that, your HP in that circle would have to be above 70%. So it's kind of like, kind of crappy. But Bennett gets better with extra copies of him. You got Rekindle, which will reduce the cooldown of his E skill, the Passion Overload. And then he does quicker send out missions. You also have Fear Not, which will actually reduce the cooldown on his Passion Overload and Fantastic Voyage. So you want to give him the level 70, I believe it is, ASAP. So once he hits 70, you'll get Fear Not, and he really blows up at that point. Because with any kind of energy regeneration, you'll be getting your Q skills that much quicker. When we go into Constellation, you have Grand Expedition. What it does, it gets rid of the HP requirement completely from the skill, okay? So, no longer has an HP restriction. You don't have to have 70% or higher HP to use the AoE buff anymore. You can be at any HP percentage. And then it's going to give you 20% more of his base attack to the effect. So, again, more attack that Bennett has going back into that plus. So you see my Bennett, I already have a copy. My Grand Expectation is working perfectly right now. His second constellation is Impasse Conqueror. When your HP is below 70%, you gain a 30% energy recharge. It's amazing because if you're using him actively for a DPS, you'll be able to use your E skill, your elemental skill, and your elemental burst a little bit quicker. So I mean, if you're getting in trouble, you can drop your Q, drop your burst, and then switch out to like Diluc, Jean, any one of your other DPS that could take over and hopefully get some HP back on them. On your third constellation, Unstoppable Fervor, you have increased level of Passion Overload by 3 levels. So if you're focusing more on the Elemental Mastery side of Bennett, this is for you. If you want to do more Elemental skill damage, have at it. I don't see this as being too useful for what I'm going to build, but I'll get into that in a minute. Unexpected Odyssey. So, the way Unexpected Odyssey works, it's really odd the way it's worded. It says using a normal attack when executing the second attack of a Passion Overload charge, level 1, allows an additional attack to be performed. So what you do is you do a level 1 Passion Overload. Then you attack. The next attack after that does 135% of that second attack, that normal attack's damage. So it's literally going to be Passion Overload, attack, and then bonus attack. So what you really want to do is when you get into a fight, and some of these weapons that we're going to talk about, you're going to want them popping off on that normal attack coming out of that E. So, like, say, you know, you have a fillet blade, or what I have on him right now is the flute. If you can pop those effects after that E, then that next normal attack after the normal attack that's going to pop off the weapon's effect is going to have even more damage stacked onto it. So that's a way to, like, increase his damage output a little bit more if you're using him as a, you know, main DPS, a side DPS, you know, whatever. True Explorer increases Fantastic Voyages level by 3. So, get you stronger, you get better, better perks, better results with it. Definitely want to get Constellation level 5 if you're going to be using Bennett for the support Pyro build. And then Fire Adventures with me. This is really odd, because what it does is your burst ability is going to give an additional 15% pyro damage to swords, claymores, and polearm users. So if you're using, let's say, our little girl from the Abyss, if you're using Homegirl, you know, she's already doing pyro damage. She's gonna get even more boosted pyro damage, which is great. I mean, that's what she does. But now all normal and charge attacks are also doing pyro damage. So what you can do is you can take at Constellation level 6, you can take, let's say, someone with high elemental mastery. So say you have a Diluc. So you drop your Q, your burst. You have the extra attack percentage, extra damage. You bring in the Diluc with 120 elemental mastery or higher, and you just let him go to town on whatever is there. And your elemental damage is going to be sky high, your basic damage is going to be sky high, and because your basic damage is now elemental damage, that mastery is going to be stacking on your basic damage as well. So it has a chance to really blow up whoever you bring in. I say Diluc because, let's be honest, he's one of the better swordsmen that can take advantage of this. You can also, you know, add in Noel, you know, Xing Ming, like everyone. Now, as far as builds are concerned, one build you can do is a DPS build. So you see I have a flute. I was working my way from my Bennett to be into a DPS spec. So with a flute, you have an AoE on the 5th hit with harmonics. And again, if you have Constellation 4, if you can somehow make that 5th hit trigger on that normal attack after your E skill, you can get a huge damage output on the 135%. So you just do your E, harmonic, and then boom, you got all of that coming right back for another hit. So the flute, you can make it work really well. The other option is a fillet blade, which I have on my girl Jean. So you see on hit, 50% chance to do 400% attack damage. Again, same setup. You're gonna want to use you're gonna want to get Constellation 4, just so you can get that E skill for shits and giggles at this point. Your normal attack, you want it to proc. Hopefully that 50% will come through on that normal hit. And then that third hit will have that 400% attack with the 135% effect. So it's not too reliable to have the fillet blade. So in my opinion, if you're going to go DPS build, go flute. The flute, honestly, is so much better for, like, clearing groups. It has the AoE to surrounding. And, I mean, it just stacks really quickly. It's really nice. And I love it. Anytime you can add attack and attack percentage, when you know you have a elemental burst that even, you know, that gets extra inspiration from having more attack, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. As far as your artifacts go, I have a Braveheart set. I would say, for me personally, because I'm going to be spamming Q more often, you want to go for Braveheart, Sonorn, or Gladiator. and just stack attack. Gladiator is recommended according to Genshin.gg, but again, coming down to that Q, you want to have more attack to pass off to someone else or to take advantage of yourself. I mean, if you can throw down your Q and you have, like, I have Jean. I can throw down Q, bring Jean in, have her stack with all that extra attack, and just wreck shop with her fillet blade. She's disgusting. Now, there's also the Pyro support option, which, that weapon, you can use the 5-star Aquila Favonia. It's kind of hard to get. It's a 5-star blade, let's be honest. Most of us are free to play. Or we're not going to be sitting there being able to get a rank 5-star weapon. I mean, that takes a lot of luck or money. The Aquila Favonia is amazing. Great weapon. Don't get me wrong. The other option that is really good is the Skyrider Sword. Now, the reason I bring up Skyrider Sword, I don't have one sadly, but it strengthens up your elemental burst, your Q skill. So you're gonna hit your burst, and it's gonna grant you extra attack and movement speed. So on top of the elemental burst giving you the extra attack percentage based on Bennett's current attack, you're going to get another stack of percentage based on the weapon. Now, it also is recommended for you to stack, as far as artifacts, the Noblesse Oblige, which will give you more attack percentage on the burst. And at a 4 set, you get the attack bonus. At 2, you just get extra elemental burst damage. So, you can use Exile to try to speed up your Q regeneration. If it was me on a support, maybe I would mix Exile and Scholar just to get quicker Qs. If you're trying to make him come in, drop Q, leave, and bring out your main DPS, if you're trying to do that more often, I would say focus more on energy regeneration versus going Noblesse. Now, the way I was recommending using Bennett is, again, using his Q for the burst, because it's amazing during the Q, you get an amazing, like, crazy huge attack percentage boost. There's actually a video out right now where someone on one of the Chinese servers takes advantage of Bennett's burst skill with Barber's Book, and they bring a Diluc up to 115,000 crit. It is a real thing. So, if you use Bennett right, you can get your damage crazy high. So, you want to stack attack Bennett, and with that extra attack going into his burst, you can give your DPS a huge boost to damage. Constellation 1 gives your Q a higher attack benefit with no HP requirement. The E elemental is good for burning shields. So if you're gonna be supporting, you need to go in. You want to help get through the Abyss Mage shield, or say you have Hilichurls with their shields. Pop in the E and get out. And then the E is also really good for setting up multi-hit combos. Again, if you're going attack based, hitting that E, getting that flute in, and then getting that 135% damage with Constellation, I believe 4, is really good. It's really good. If you go support build, it relies heavily on the burst itself. So, but make sure you have attack. When you hear the word support, you think usually, oh, I need to get HP, defense. No. When you're building Bennett as a support, when you're going to switch him in, elemental burst and switch him out, attack percentage, and elemental recharge are the 3 things you want the most. You want the attack and attack percent, again, to boost that damage to whoever's in that circle. And then the energy recharge is going to make sure that Q gets activated more often, that burst gets activated more often. So that's going to be amazing. And then you can add action, and what I'm going to recommend to you guys is adding to a more attack support by mixing up the Noblesse set and the Skyrider, because it's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to be overhauling my Bennett after this video in the next couple streams. By the way, I stream on YouTube. Check it out. we're going to be overhauling our Bennett to fall into this, the support category. Because when you go into the Abyss, like, you know, floor 6, 7, 8, anything after 5, really, you have to have 2 teams. And you're going to need some real support, some real heals. And this kid can be so good for support. So, recommendation, Pyro support. That's what I'm going to build him. That's what I would recommend you build him. Skyrider Sword, 3-star, is the weapon of choice. For artifact, Noblesse Oblige. And the reasons why I choose those two. Skyrider Sword is easier for free-to-play players to obtain. It's a 3-star sword that you can get rank 5 fairly easily if you've been going around chests, picking it up, and just refining it in. It's a lot easier to get than the 5-star Aquila Favonia. Unless you are a whale and want to spend thousands of dollars and maybe get it, I mean, feel free, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. But where this sword shines is the ability to further strengthen the elemental burst. You want to have it out there so it can increase the bursting effect. Adding Noblesse artifacts will also stack and give it greater attack percentage buff to the burst itself. And then Constellation level 6 adds the extra damage with Pyro. Especially if you're, again, a sword, a claymore, or a polearm user. So go nuts. Recommend using, I would recommend focusing Bennett as a quick switch. So again, you switch him in, you hit that burst, you switch him out for your DPS character. You can also do it in a way where you have, like, say if you have Barbara. Like, I have my Barbara, my girl, my waifu. She got the Thrilling Tales. You see she got that 48% stack, right? So you take Bennett, you switch him in, you use Fantastic Voyage, right? Cooldowns, duration's 12 seconds, okay? Takes 2 seconds to switch to Barbara. Her book has a 10-second window on it. So now you got Bennett's elemental burst on the field. You got Barbara. You switch her in, and then you switch to your main DPS. In my case, it'd be Jean. Now you got Bennett's burst, Barbara's book, and then your main DPS, whether it be, again, Diluc. You know, Klee is amazing now. Maybe you went Klee. Maybe you have Klee, an attack-based Klee. I don't know why you would, but maybe you do. Either way, your main DPS now has so much extra damage for 10 seconds. If you're in the middle of doing boss fights, that 9 pillars boss fight I just did on the stream today was horrible for me. I wish I had this setup, because it would have made life so much easier. On artifacts, again, aim for attack percentage, and elemental recharge only. You know, maybe get a little bit of HP so for more survivability. So, like, we can switch in, switch out, you don't die immediately. You don't need mastery if you're going to be using my support build, the one I'm recommending now, because you're not going to be doing any damage. You're not going to be pressing E. You're not going to be doing, well, not going to be doing your elemental skill. So there's no point. Why you don't need mastery. You're not going to be trying to set up elemental combos. A faster recharge will allow your elemental burst to recharge faster, which is more attack bonus, which is faster fights, faster boss kills, faster spiral abysses, because you know that's a thing that's going to get really hard really quickly. And yeah, I mean, all in all, for me, Bennett is like the Disney Hercules. He looks like a zero, but when you get down to the nuts and bolts of him, he's actually a hero if you build him right. A Pyro support that switches in and switches out with a high attack and a high energy recharge. You run that, and your main DPS is going to make everything look like he's running a 1,000-degree knife through butter. So, it's nuts. It's nuts. Anyways, guys, if you agree with this, agree with my ideas with this guide, by all means, let me know in the comments below. If you have any ideas yourself for other weapons, artifacts you want to use, or even if you think that I might have missed something, again, let me know in the comments. You can join the Discord. We do have a Genshin Impact section if you want to come talk to other players, you want to show off your teams. And by all means, follow me on Twitter. That way you can know when I'm streaming, when I'm live. I do appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to watch my analysis of my boy Bennett, our mini DeLuke. And hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.